It's great to be here with you all today to share the details of our democracy package. At the outset, can I thank all of our colleagues across the services who contributed to this work over many months. I see a number of them here today. They all put in a huge effort to get us to this point. As many of you will know, before I became a European Commissioner last year, I served as a directly elected public representative in Ireland at a local level and a national level for a total of 25 years. And I learned a few things. One, that democracy is absolutely precious and must be protected at all times. And secondly, that it is fundamentally about people. Democracy is for people, it is about people and with people, and participation of our citizens is essential. Without their trust and their participation, our democracy is going nowhere. We can look to Europe's past, or indeed to Putin's Russia, to be reminded of what life without democracy looks like, and it is not a pretty picture. I've learned that democracy's true essence is found in everyday courage, when judges stand firm as threats become personal, when journalists tell the truth, knowing that it could cost them their careers, when parents and teachers compete for our children's hearts and minds against the most addictive technology that we have ever seen. That is where democracy lives, and that is also where we must defend it. And it is not a destination. There is no end point. It is a journey that we share together, evolving to adapt to the new challenges we face and the incessant technological advancements. And it's not an abstract principle either. Democracy is the beating heart of our European Union, the foundation of our freedom, our security and our very way of life. Yet today that heart is undoubtedly under pressure. Across our continent and beyond, authoritarian regimes are using hybrid tactics, attacking infrastructure, exploiting migration, manipulating information, deploying criminal networks and interfering in our electoral processes. And they have been investing heavily in foreign information manipulation and interference, or so-called FIMI, and disinformation. And we know what their aim is, it's clear, to erode citizens' trust, to exploit divisions and influence elections, and ultimately to destabilise and undermine our institutions and our very democracies. At the same time, digital transformation has opened new avenues for expression, but also created new vulnerabilities. Disinformation, algorithmic manipulation, financial pressure on media and AI tools now threaten our democratic way of being. We must act now. Our fundamental rights, free elections, media freedom and a safe civic space are not just values, they are the very first line of defence. And that is why today we are presenting this European democracy package. I'll say a few words about the Democracy Shield, which connects the dots, making sure Europe's tools and actors work together effectively in defence of our shared values. The challenge is clear. And let us make no mistake, the stakes are indeed very high. So we need to take action to strengthen our collective response. When we pool our resources and we act as one, attempts to divide us will not succeed. But Democracy Shield goes further than this. It protects the real targets of foreign interference, our media, our elections, our communities and our EU citizens. And let me flag some key actions under the three priority areas already mentioned by the Executive Vice President. We will create a European Centre for Democratic Resilience, a framework that brings together the capacities of the EU and its Member States to detect, deter and support response to threats, in particular FIMI and disinformation. The Centre will facilitate cooperation and it will provide coordination. All with the aim of increasing our preparedness, allowing us to preempt threats and to fine-tune our responses. We know that we are stronger and more effective when we act together. The work of this new centre will also be vital for the integrity of our information space, together with the other measures that have been mentioned by Henna. In a nutshell, the Democracy Shield is about preserving the information space for people to express themselves freely and exercise their democratic rights across Europe. Secondly, we will invest in the integrity of our electoral processes. At the end of the day, our goal is simple. It's to make sure that EU citizens can exercise their democratic entitlement in free and fair elections and choose whomever they wish to represent them at a local, national and at a European level, and to do so in a manner that is free from interference. Because free and fair elections are indeed the backbone of our democracy. This is about protecting the process itself, so citizens can trust that their vote counts and that citizens have confidence in the outcome of any election, no matter who they have voted for. The organisation and the conduct of elections rests with the Member States, of course, and we fully respect this. But we will reinforce the support that we can give them to address evolving challenges to elections, such as the impact of AI or new means of political campaigning, including financing. And we will work with them to enhance safety in politics against online or offline threats, because when people who are participating in politics feel that they are threatened, then our very democracy itself is threatened, and that can have a chilling effect on the willingness of people to enter public life and be willing to serve in politics. So we will work with them to enhance safety in politics. On all these matters, we will reinforce the work under the European Cooperation Network on Elections, and we will also update the DSA Elections Toolkit. We must learn from the experience of previous elections and ensure that the elections to come are free, fair and reliable. And Moldova's recent elections are a telling example of the importance of preparedness and coordinated response. Thirdly, we will defend and strengthen Europe's media ecosystem. Free and independent media are the oxygen of our democracy. Yet today many are suffocating, economically crowded out by algorithms and disinformation. Generative AI is adding to this challenge, often recycling journalistic content without fair acknowledgement or compensation. And building on the European Media Freedom Act, which includes groundbreaking guardrails for free and plural media, our task now is to make reliable journalism visible, but also viable, through the upcoming review of the Audiovisual Media Services Directive and by ensuring sustainable funding for independent media. And we will continue our actions to ensure a safe and enabling environment for journalists to exercise their role as our democratic watchdogs. Finally, let me point to the measures aimed to deepen citizens' engagement. People don't want democracy only on election day. They want to have their voice heard every day. The Democracy Shield will support science as a basis for policy making, which is conducive to driving people's trust in decision makers. And we will support local and, critically, youth participation, because this is where democracy becomes real, in communities, schools, associations and sports clubs throughout the European Union. And let me be clear also, our candidate and potential candidate countries will not stand on the sidelines. They will be important partners in the actions that we take. The Shield is not just about safeguarding our values within our borders, it's about projecting them beyond. Because democracy does not thrive in isolation, it grows stronger, safer and more resilient when surrounded by other democracies too. We have today the first ever EU strategy for civil society, which acknowledges the important role played by people who keep democracy alive from the ground up. Civil society organisations should be able to speak freely, operate safely and access the support that they need to thrive. Because when civic space shrinks, we know that our democracy is weakened. This strategy is built on three simple principles: engage, protect and support. On engagement, too often dialogue between institutions and civil society depends on goodwill rather than structure. Let's talk with civil society, not about them. We will build a new European civil society platform next year, a space where civil society organisations can engage directly with the Commission on EU values and rights. Second, protection. Across Europe, civic actors are facing growing pressure from strategic lawsuits, online harassment or bureaucratic barriers. We will establish an online knowledge hub to track threats and to share solutions. And finally, support. Funding is the backbone of an independent civil society, This strategy highlights available EU funds, and we will build stronger links with philanthropic partners and pro bono legal networks to help organisations to face political or legal harassment to stay on their feet. Defending democracy, ladies and gentlemen, is a long game because the pressures on it are lasting, from war to technological disruption and social fragmentation. Disinformation, manipulation and external interference are not going to go away. That is the reality. This package is our long-term framework to update, to strengthen, to coordinate Europe's efforts to protect our democracy, our societies and our very way of life. The investments and actions we take now will determine the health of our democracies and the stability of our societies for the next generation of European citizens. So that work starts today. And over the months ahead, we will take this message across Europe to journalists, to citizens, to civic leaders, to remind everyone that as Europeans, we have the strongest pitch. Nowhere else can freedom and opportunity be lived this fully. Strong democracies are not only a moral imperative, we know they are essential to our physical and economic security, social cohesion and our long-term stability. Thank you.